Hello, my friends. D.L. Anderson here. Welcome back to Transformation by Truth podcast as we share the truth concerning these last days and what you must do to save yourself from the violent times that are just ahead. Today's podcast is a word of truth accounting of the end times. The end is coming. The end is near. Today's podcast is entitled End Times 100, an intro to end times. The podcast objectives are analyze the difference between being called and being chosen in these last days, reveal why many who have been called will not be saved, reveal how you can qualify yourself for the kingdom of our loving Master, and reveal the foundation for understanding end times. From called to chosen. I began this end time series with a welcome. In that podcast, I revealed why I am conducting this series, and I revealed why you are here. I would like to begin this podcast by reconnecting with that line of thought. For my part, the Father has made me a watchman. He has called me to warn his people of what is coming in these last days. For without this knowledge, they will not be saved. That is why you are here. It's because you are his people. You have been called. However, just because you have been called does not mean you will be chosen. There's a difference. Matthew 22:14. For many are called, but few are chosen. The question of the hour then is how do you know if you have been chosen? The answer, you won't know with absolute certainty until the end. Matthew 24:13. But he who shall have endured to the end shall be saved. These verses prove that our salvation will be confirmed when and if we endure until the end. If we do, then and only then will we be chosen. Then and only then will we be saved, and not a moment before. Therefore, I caution you, don't take too much comfort in knowing the Father has called you in this final hour. Trust me, as pivotal as your calling is, it is merely the beginning. Alas, there is a long and difficult path ahead, and we must travel this path during the most violent days in the history of our world. Thus, the following is true. The majority of those who have been called will not be chosen. Think about that for a moment. Think about how more than half of those who understand these are the last days will not survive them. Think about how 3 out of every 4 persons listening to this podcast is not going to make it per the spiritual law of averages. That should tell you just how difficult surviving these last days will be. And no wonder, for life's greatest rewards are always preceded by life's greatest challenges. And this is the greatest challenge you will ever face. I'll do everything within my power to help you succeed. But at the end of the day, salvation is a personal experience. Thus, the only person who can ensure that you are chosen is you. And you will be chosen if you follow the tools, the teaching, and the training I provide. Because somewhere on this path, you'll find you're not hearing my voice. You are hearing the voice of the Spirit, for he alone is your guide. For lack of knowledge. The unlimited value of being chosen in these last days can easily be weighed against the downfall of those who are called but will not be chosen. Consider this: everyone who fails to be chosen in these last days will spend their eternity in the lake of fire, for they will have failed to spiritually qualify themselves to participate in the millennial kingdom. In this regard, you can look at being chosen again in these last days as acquiring your ticket into the coming kingdom of our loving master. That is the millennial kingdom, 1,000 years of peace on earth and goodwill upon all the creation. Contrary to the beliefs of some, not everyone will be elected to that kingdom. As I said before, we must spiritually qualify ourselves to participate in this kingdom. This is why understanding the end times is so vital. It is the time bridge into this kingdom. For within this body of knowledge lies all the spiritual requirements upon our election, and there is no other truth. There is no other way. This speaks to why so many who have been called will be lost. It's not because they didn't have a desire to be saved. Rather, it's because they did not fulfill all the requirements on their salvation. And in some cases, they may not have known them. Be that as it may, lack of knowledge has never been and will never be a viable excuse for our failure to execute the Father's will. 'Tis a hard statement, but it is true. Here is why. The Father has promised to reveal the truth to all who fear him, and both knowledge and wisdom have been preserved for those who diligently seek after them, as if their life depends on it. Because the truth is, it does. Psalm 25:14. The secret of Yahuwah is with those who fear him, and he makes his covenant known to them. Proverb 2:3-6. For if you cry for discernment, lift up your voice for understanding. If you seek her as silver and search for her as hidden treasures, then you would understand the fear of Yahuwah and find the knowledge of Elohim. For Yahuwah gives wisdom. Out of his mouth come knowledge and understanding. As straightforward as this direction is, here yet lies a problem, and the primary reason why many who have been called will not be chosen. It's not only because of their lack of knowledge, it's why they lack knowledge. That is, they have not made it a priority. I trust that is why you are here. I trust you understand that there is no life outside of this knowledge. You must know the truth concerning these last days so that you can be prepared for them and qualify yourself for the kingdom that is to come. Remember, there is no new thing under the sun. The people of Elohim have been destroyed because of their lack of knowledge in times past, and they will be destroyed for the same reason in times present. For their lack on this wise is not an excuse. Hosea 4:6. My people have perished for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I reject you. I also forget your children. Right place, last time. This may seem like an unorthodox introduction to end times, but the truth is, the foundation for understanding end times has nothing to do with end times. It has everything to do with preparing your heart and your mind to receive the truth. Trust me, if you don't take this first step, you will never see the truth and this series will be of no value to you, for you will not stay. And this is to be expected, for this is a day in which sound doctrine, like truth, has fallen in the streets. 2 Timothy 4:3-4. For the time shall come when they shall not endure sound doctrine, but according to their own desires, they shall heap up for themselves teachers tickling the ear. And they shall indeed turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to myths. My dear friends, that awful day has surely come. The appointed hour is here. And before we move on to discuss our first end time subject matter, I must make this one thing clear. This series is not for the called. It is for the chosen. It is for those who are prepared to do whatever it takes to be saved in these last days, beginning with a full embrace of the truth I'll be sharing in this series. If the Spirit has led you here for this cause, then let me tell you, you're at the right place and at the last time. For the end is near, and nearer than most would agree, and they are not where they should be. Now, here is the final word. The degree of what you know will determine how long you live and where you will go. We are living in the purported information age. Yet, despite all the information available to us, billions are perishing and will perish before the coming of the Son of Adam. As ironic as this is, and it is yet also to be highly expected, for the majority of mankind has routinely chosen the pleasures of sin for a season over the goodwill of our Creator. And thus, they will not inherit his goodwill, but they shall be cast into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now, here is today's assignment. Meditate on the word you have heard today and ask the Father to reveal the truth to you. Remember, where there is no conviction, there can be no faith. And without faith, it is impossible to please him. Next, if the Spirit is leading you and you have not signed up for our mailing list, you can go to www.transformationbytruth.com to sign up today. We'll alert you as soon as podcasts are posted, and we'll share our presentations, notes, and other materials at no cost. It is for your edification. And most importantly, you will be connected to me and those who have joined themselves to this ministry as we prophesy and align current events with the prophetic word. These discussions are taking place outside of this podcast ministry. Therefore, if the Spirit is leading you, and only if the Spirit is leading you, I encourage you to come and see. You will be in good spiritual company. Lastly, if you have any questions, please submit them via our contact form on our website. If you have any comments, please share those on the video page for this podcast, also on our website. Now, here is what's next. We completed today's podcast, End Times 100, an intro to End Times. And the next podcast is End Times 101, the basics. I will post this podcast on Friday, April 7th, 2023. Until then, my friends, continue to be led by the Spirit of Elohim. Continue to watch, continue to pray, continue in fasting, and most of all, continue to be focused, for the end is coming. The end is near.